So here we go. Today is Boxing Day, traditional day, not quite sure why. Maybe just a good excuse to get out from doing the dishes at home. But Boxing Day, traditional day for sowing onions. So I thought, got to stick to tradition. Another tradition I like, terracotta pots. I've used plastic pots over the years, but I find with terracotta, I find I get better plants. Could be a psychological thing, I do not know. But you do need to water the plant as well as the flower. Now, I'm starting off with, now again, you might see things and you think he's doing that completely the wrong way. Like I've said to you before, I don't know a lot about this growing for showing, so I'm just going with instinct. And I'm going to start off by putting a few bits of grit into the bottom of my pots that I'm going to sow my seeds into. And I'm going to do 2 pots because again, there's something I want to try that I've picked up on from an old TV show from the 70s with Jeffrey Smith. Now, usually I would like to use the proper soil for the proper task, like John Innes number 1, then move your plants up to John Innes 2, 3 and whatever. But unfortunately I don't have any, so maybe this is the first lesson that I have to learn, is that when you do this growing for showing, maybe you need to be a bit more planned and forward thinking. So let me just get some of these nodules out. It's not that cold, seeing as it's been stuck in here for the last few weeks. So in the first one, I just want to use this multi-purpose. Did I tell you the name of it? Let's make a note of it. Emerald Gold All-Purpose Compost. First year of me trying this, but look, there's still twigs in them. It got really bad a few years ago where every bit of compost you bought was just full of twigs. Right, so we'll pop that in. Don't want it all the way to the top. Let me just get where's my other pot? There we go. I can use that. There, that's perfect in fact. I can use that as a compressor. Right, just fill out every corner. Certainly something to lift the spirit after the Christmas period when you feel a bit exhausted. Also gives you a bit of hope that spring is not too far away. Right, let me get that now smooth as I can get it. So that's one. Now, the other thing I want to try differently is in the second one, I'm going to use the same compost. But I know of a thing called flashing, where your seeds come up and they fall over, but not in the way that they should. And apparently that's called flashing because there's not enough nutriment in the compost. So this first tip that I've seen is to put some manure in the bottom. So I'm using farmyard manure, evergreen horticulture. So I'm going to mix that in with the multi-purpose compost. Am I? No, I'm not. I remember now the video that I saw said put some in the base because you want the seeds to get to it when the roots have gone down and they've been there for a while and they're feeling a bit exhausted. Then all of a sudden you just give them a bit of compost, a bit of manure to keep them going. Right, so I've put the manure in the base like that, and then I will put some of the multi-purpose. Be interesting to see whether there's a difference in the two pots. Because for the first few years with this growing for showing, it's all about learning. I'm not expecting a place card at all in the first year. It's all about having a go, taking it to the show, learning from the feedback from the judges and from the other people there. They'll say, you did that wrong and you need to change that for next year. So I'm not expecting to get a card for about 3 years. So put the compost on top like so, and then we'll get the seeds out in a moment. Right. So like I said, the seed that I'm using is from Medwyns of Anglesey. Comes in these very space-like packets. Now, not too thickly. Ooh, they're very secure packets. Now, they are like little bits of coal. You know the old coal used to put onto the train sets? Now that's interesting. These look blue. I think he's put a bit of blue dye on them so you can see them better. Well, that's great, that is. See, this is a man who knows. So I'm spacing them out slightly, but not going to go too perfectionist at this point. But we don't want them all clustered up together. Otherwise we'll have a problem with damping off. I'm surprised at that they were blue, but pleased. Right, so remember now, the manure one is this one, non-manure. Let me just press that down a bit more. There we go. That is a great idea to make them blue. Can clearly see them now. Because in the past, you're putting them there and just hoping for the best. Also put them on the outside. Sometimes when you're doing it this way, they tend to all roll into the middle. Alright, a few more on that side as well. Right, there we go. Plenty left. Now, I haven't got a sieve. I need to make one. But I find if you take a pot and put another pot and slightly turn it, that does a good enough job. So this is now multi-purpose compost. And I'll put them back in there, not to make a mess. Not too heavy. Just enough, and this is where the blue of the seed comes in. Just enough so that we can't see the seed anymore. So don't want them too thick. So just do it until you cannot see any more seed. There we go. Right, clean the top up. Press it down so that everything's in contact with each other. I expect the experts now, if there's any experts watching this, they'll be going, you're doing that wrong, you're doing that wrong. But let's all encourage each other. And then put a bit more soil on these ones. So if you do have some constructive criticism based out of experience, and I'm not just talking a year, an experience for quite a few years, then I'm more than willing to listen. And there are some very expert growers in my area, and one or two of them have reached out to say, if you need any help, let me know, and hopefully I can go and visit their setups and I can get them on a video, because what's the point in having knowledge if you don't pass it on to future generations? And then we just press that down, make sure everything's in contact with each other, and then the most important thing, which is the one thing that I tend to forget to do, and that's one of the reasons why I do this filming, is to pop a label on them. He said, while he can't find his labels. Here they are. Especially when you're doing experiments like I'm already doing now. And now, where's my magic pen? Is your shed as untidy as this? I want to try and tidy it up a bit, but who knows? I'll get around to it at some point. Right, so this was onion Toughball. Oh, can't get a pen to work now. The pen is frozen. Right, so another lesson I've learned is get yourself set up. Get your pens somewhere, get your labels, get your bags of compost all lined up so you can just put your hand there and find them. Right, anyway, you don't really need to see me do that. I'm just going to label them up. Onion Toughball, sown Boxing Day. Right, now, the most important thing is I'm going to give them some water. And in fact, I can do that now. Got some water here. Now, do you use water from the sky or water from the tap? I've never had a preference for either, but is there thinking that water from the tap is better at the seedling stage because you know it's pure? See, I think it's great that somebody who's been growing and gardening for, how long have I been doing it? I'm 51 now, and I started when I was 12. Can still learn things, and is still open to be taught as well. Right. Now the other thing is, like I've said, it's too cold here. So when my propagator turns up, I've ordered this nice little propagator, it's coming in a few days. When that turns up, I will pop these into the propagator and put them on about, I think it was 16 degrees. Does it say on there? No. But I've seen it somewhere, 16 degrees. So that's it. Onions. What will the outcome be? Only time will tell. Right, I'm going to enjoy my cup of tea and I'll catch up with you next time. If you're new here, click the subscribe button, give a thumbs up, and if you do put a comment with some constructive criticism, don't forget to tell me where you are in the world as well, because that really helps when giving gardening knowledge. Right, I'll catch up with you next time. So from until then, bye for now. You can't beat a cold tea. Right, let's get that kettle back on.